When we think of villains, we often imagine chaos, cruelty, and lust for power. But some of the most dangerous figures in history and fiction don't kill for pleasure, they destroy for purpose. They don't see themselves as evil, but as saviors. And that's what makes Thanos terrifying. In Avengers: Infinity War, Thanos is not portrayed as a cackling monster or a raging brute. He's calm, thoughtful, philosophical. In fact, he doesn't seem to enjoy what he's doing at all. He suffers to do it. And that's the point. He doesn't kill out of hate. He kills out of belief. Thanos is a true believer. He doesn't want to conquer the universe. He wants to save it from itself. To understand Thanos, we have to begin with his worldview. He comes from Titan, a planet that once thrived, full of ambition, intellect, and life. But Thanos saw doom ahead. Overpopulation, resource depletion, societal collapse. He warned his people, and when they laughed, he proposed something unthinkable. Kill half the population, at random. No bias, no war, just balance. They refused. The planet fell, and Thanos watched the future die, exactly as he predicted. That event did more than break Thanos. It confirmed him. In his mind, he had seen the end, and the others were too naive or too sentimental to face it. That's when the shift occurred. He stopped seeking permission. He started seeking inevitability. Infinity War introduces us to a Thanos on a mission, not to destroy, but to correct. His language is almost religious. Mercy, balance, salvation. He speaks with the solemnity of a priest delivering judgment, and his plan is horrifyingly simple. Collect all 6 Infinity Stones, snap his fingers, and erase half of all life across the universe. Not out of anger, not as punishment, but as sacrifice. He believes he's saving the universe, and that belief is what makes him more than just a villain. It makes him ideological. He doesn't see people, he sees percentages, resources, ecosystems. He's not emotional, he's statistical. To him, compassion is the lie that leads to collapse. Detachment is the virtue that leads to survival. But let's dig deeper. Thanos is a psychological portrait of what we might call genocidal idealism. This is when a person or a leader commits mass atrocities not because they revel in destruction, but because they believe it's necessary for a greater good. From his point of view, he's the only one with the will to do what must be done. He sees himself as the universe's reluctant savior. The irony, of course, is that Thanos sees the world's problems in purely material terms: overpopulation, finite food and water, finite energy. And yet, wielding infinite power, he never once considers increasing abundance, only reducing demand. It's not a failure of imagination, it's a confirmation of his belief. People are the problem. That's the chilling part. Thanos has already decided what the solution is. Now, he's just pursuing the most efficient method. Even his relationship with his daughters, Gamora and Nebula, reflects this utilitarian lens. He tortures, manipulates, and molds them, not because he's sadistic, but because he believes in creating what's necessary. His love is conditional. His affection is structured around loyalty to his mission. Gamora, his favorite, is still expendable. When it comes time to retrieve the Soul Stone, Thanos does what no madman would do. He weeps. He sacrifices, because belief that deep requires pain. He's not a psychopath. He's a zealot. And that's what makes him different from so many other MCU villains. He doesn't want revenge or to feed his ego. He wants to be done. He wants to rest.
And then, a I watched the sunrise on a grateful universe.
That's the language of a martyr, a messiah. But what makes Thanos ultimately wrong isn't just the horror of his plan. It's that he removes moral responsibility from himself. He believes so deeply in the righteousness of his cause that he never questions his own assumptions. He becomes judge, jury, and executioner. Not because he enjoys it, but because he believes no one else has the courage to be him. That's the dark heart of genocidal idealism. It doesn't kill because it hates. It kills because it believes. It believes so strongly that it sacrifices lives and morality to reach what it calls salvation. And the tragedy? Thanos wins. By the end of Infinity War, he succeeds. The Avengers fail. Half the universe fades to dust, and Thanos sits in silence, alone, watching the sun rise, not as a victor, but as a believer who fulfilled prophecy. This moment is one of the boldest in blockbuster storytelling, not because the villain wins, but because the villain thinks he's right. And worse, he almost convinces us. We may reject his methods, but we understand his logic. We feel the weight of his cause. And that's what makes Thanos terrifying. Not the size of his army or the strength of his fist, but the clarity of his belief. He isn't a monster. He's a warning, because the most dangerous people in history were never the ones who knew they were evil. They were the ones who believed they were good.